All right, everyone, we are back with our second event of our local to global save. This one being Valor Championship Wrestling Retaliation. We're back. Oh, look, one more person than the last event. Last time we had 45, now we're up to 46. So, hooray for us. We're still in the social club for our venue. That's all right. Starting us off, we have Rebecca Knox, the future Becky Lynch, out here, and she cuts a promo and she says that she's here to basically be at the top of the women's division in our company. Let me see. It got the crowd hotter, hot and rising. That's good. And this was a good way to get a strong start to the show with a segment rated of 32. So I'm happy with Rebecca. Good for her. And she has her first match here, and she's going up against a young Candice LeRae. Had subpar wrestling, non-existent heat. Ooh, does not look good down there. Matt Ritter. I think that's the second time he's done this to me. We're gonna have to get rid of that guy. He's just not a good referee. But Rebecca picking up the win over Candice. But the crowd heat at the end of that was still white hot, so that's good. The match got the crowd hotter despite the referee. We're gonna get rid of him for sure. Wrestling only did an 18. The crowd was a 0, and the segment did an 18. So I'm fully putting the blame on that referee. Definitely gone. Afterwards, after the match, Beth Phoenix comes out and she says, she takes some exception to what Rebecca said about being at the top of the women's division. Beth Phoenix says that's her spot. That's where she plans on being. And at the next event, she'll see Rebecca Knox and they'll figure it out about who's really going to be at the top of the women's division. So that was a good 5-minute promo. Crowd heat at the end of that was very hot. Segment did a 35. Let's move on. All right, we have an angle. There is a backstage brawl between Christopher Daniels and Prince Iakea. Let's see. At the crowd at the end of that was very hot. Christopher Daniels came across well. Ace Darling could have done better as a road agent as it wasn't put together well. So that's going to be something we keep an eye on as well. Because we're already going to get rid of that referee, Ace Darling. I don't remember if the last event I got this note about him also, but we're going to keep an eye on that. Segment rating did a 44, so I'm happy with that. And they have their official match after having that little scuffle backstage. Okay, about had great wrestling and good heat. Christopher Daniels picks up the win over Prince Iakea after the last rites. Crowd heat at the end of that was very hot. Wrestling was a 40. Our crowd was a 24. And overall, the segment got a 37. Let's see. Christopher Daniels getting better at his gimmick. All right, we like that. Promo. Brian Danielson cutting a promo out here. And he says, he's gonna be here. He's a new face around. He knows that he's gonna have to work his way up, but he says that's exactly what he's here to do. And next event, he'll take on anyone who wants to, face him. And the crowd heat at the end of that was very hot. Our segment did a 51. That's, I think, the best of the night. All right, and now we have our matchups here. We have Adam Pearce versus Bobby Roode. Decent wrestling, but not much heat. Adam Pearce picking up the win over Bobby Roode. Okay. Let's see what crowd heat at the end of that was very hot, so that's good. Wrestling was a 31. Crowd really not into it with only a 5. And that's all right. Segment rating 27. And a promo. And it is Ken Anderson talking down on CM Punk and saying, the guy's a bum. He's a coward. He didn't even show up to tonight's event. He had other things he was deemed more important than being here in VCW. And Ken Anderson says that's not him. He's here to do it all. Week in, or, event in and event out. Crowd heat at the end of that was very hot. This is the second time Ace Darling could have. Maybe we're gonna have to take him off of being a road agent. Okay, or I don't know. He if that's all he does, we might have to get rid of him as well too. But that's okay. We'll look into that afterwards. Ken Anderson getting better at his gimmick and did a 36. Now, since CM Punk is not around, Ken Anderson finds himself in a matchup against Abyss. Had great wrestling, decent reaction from the crowd. Abyss picks up the win over Ken Anderson. Uh, Crowd heat at the end of that was very hot. Wrestling was a 38. Our crowd rating's an 18, and our segment rating is 34. Ken Anderson was really off his game here, but this match got the crowd buzzing, so that's good. But that was also our main event, so I'm glad we left the crowd, buzzing. That was a decent show. Let's finish up. Overall, did a 36. We gained popularity in our region, so that's good. Let's finish up and go to the headlines. And then we also got to get rid of that referee and see about Ace Darling, see if we can do something with him. No, we're not going to address the locker room financials. I'm almost afraid to see. I'm probably like negative 5,000 now. Let's yeah, now negative 5,113. All right. I wonder if we could change something of that too, so we're not spending as much. We'll see after this. All right, we don't have anything in the mail. Offhand, I'm not seeing any big headlines or stories that are of noteworthy. Yeah, so let's move on here. All right, let's reset that so I get everybody. There's that referee. Let's get rid of him. Yeah, get rid of him. And then Ace Darling. Is this the only thing he does? No, he could be a manager or a wrestler, suppose. Or all right, let's take him off of that. You are no longer a road agent, my friend. Perfect. You stick to that. I did what else were we gonna look? I was gonna say I went ahead, as you can see, since we're already at the second event, I skipped all the weeks leading up to it. Nothing of major importance happened. Some cool little storylines, Kevin Nash being in a movie. And no, it wasn't Ninja Turtles. They didn't even name the movie, but it was some, or I don't know, but Kevin Nash got himself a movie deal. There was other random people retiring or coming back. But nothing too big or major that I felt like I should include it. Oh, what else did I want to do? We got our spending down? Where is our marketing? That's merchandise. Do we have a marketing thing? Because I know I was being charged for it on one of those expenses. I'm not seeing anything. Oh, there's production, but I'm at the bottom level, level 1. Can't really go any lower than that. I don't see anything that I could specifically do to alter how much we spend on marketing, even though that's one of the things that was costing me money. Right? Markers, show call. Yeah, marketing. Whatever. Because there's nothing I could do about that. Ticket sales, oof. Even less than the first month. No sponsors. Last time we had a sponsor. Oh, no, this month we have a sponsor. Last month we didn't. Oh, so we increased. Oh, that's good. That's good. We increased there. We have a sponsor. Don't know who that is, but. Okay. I earned 1 for my various sponsors. Merchandise, 9. And yeah, that was it. That's expenses. We didn't. All right, so I didn't really get much there. That's negative, right? Yeah, those numbers are red. No good. Okay, but oh well. Hopefully that'll improve as we continue moving forward. Where is just merchandise? Okay, it doesn't we don't have any. Somehow we sold some merchandise that we don't have. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. What are we? We are at the end of May, going into April. Let's add our event for April. And we'll come up with a name for it later. I just need to set the date and stuff here. Or no, sorry, June. Okay, yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking of the backwards, not forwards. All right. So our June event, the last Sunday of the month, puts us on the 27th. That's when we'll have it. And like I said, I'll come up with a name for it later. There we are. All right. Same as always. I'm going to go ahead and sim. Oh, hold on. That's our retaliation report. It was very positive. We drew 46 fans. Perfect. All right. I'm going to go ahead and sim forward. If there's anything interesting, noteworthy in the headlines or in the mail section, I will, of course, save that and add it to the video. But otherwise, we're just going to go ahead and end this one here. Thank you all for joining me. I appreciate it, and I'll see you on the next one.
All right, we're going to have to do this in a roundabout way. I had some issues with my mic, so I got to do a voiceover. But here we are, our third event, VCW Hazard. And this time we got 49 people, so 3 more than last time. I'm excited about that. Starting off the night, Evan Courageous versus Pac. I think he's only like 18 at the beginning of this mod, but good wrestling, decent reaction from the crowd. Evan Courageous picking up the win over Pac. The crowd heat at the end of that was simmering, and it got our show off to a strong start, so I'm happy about that. Let's see. Yeah, off to a good start. The simmering crowd heat at the end. Our wrestling was a 33, our crowd rating was a 10, and our segment rating was a 31. Next up, we have Eddie Kingston on the mic, cutting a promo, hyping himself up. Good Freddie, good on the mic. The crowd heat at the end of that was hot and rising, and the angle got the crowd hotter. Our segment did a 31, so I'm happy with Eddie Kingston on the mic right now. Hopefully that translates to in-ring work too. Next up, we have a match with Bryan Danielson versus Jay Lethal. It was superb wrestling and good heat. Bryan Danielson picking up the win. I wouldn't expect anything less from these two. Our crowd heat at the end of this one was white hot. The match, it got the crowd hotter. Happy about that. Wrestling, we did a 48. Crowd rating was a 21, bringing our segment rating to a 44 overall. I'm pleased with that. Let's go on to the next. Here we have a kind of like the girls getting in each other's faces. They've been talking about each other for the last 2 events, and here they finally met up. Beth Phoenix and Rebecca Knox. Crowd heat at the end of that was very hot, so happy about that. It was an average promo. Segment did a 25. Let's move on to the next part. Their actual matchup. Subpar wrestling, little heat, but Beth Phoenix picking up the win over Rebecca Knox. Our crowd heat was very hot. Wrestling was only a 19. Crowd rating was a 4. They were not really too into it, and our segment rating was an 18. Oof. All right, here we have Adam Pearce and Ace Steel getting into each other's faces. The first time I've been able to have them both at an event where they weren't working for somewhere else, but the crowd heat at the end of this was very hot. This advances our storyline between the two, and our segment rating at the end of that was a 27. Let's get to the match. So here we have Ace Steel versus Adam Pearce. They had good wrestling, decent reaction from the crowd. Ace Steel picking up the win over Scrap Daddy Adam Pearce. Our crowd heat at the end of that was very hot. Ace Steel and Adam Pearce have great chemistry together, which is good because I'm going to have them in stuff. Wrestling 35. Crowd 14. Our segment rating at a 35. Next up, matchup between Kevin Steen and Brody Lee. Decent wrestling, not much heat. Steen picking up the win over Brody here. The crowd heat at the end of that matchup was very hot. Wrestling was a 24. The crowd was not into it at all with a 6, with our segment rating being a 21. Here we have another promo battle. This time it's CM Punk and Ken Anderson. They did great on this. CM Punk, very hot. Segment rating did a 60. So I'm happy about, oh, sorry, this was just CM Punk talking about Ken Anderson, but I'm happy about that. Now they have their matchup. Good wrestling, decent reaction from the crowd. CM Punk picking up the win over Ken Anderson here. The crowd heat at the end of that was very hot, which is something that's sustained throughout the night. Wrestling was at 37. Crowd not really into it, only 18. Segment 39. But CM Punk benefited from having a hot new move, and Ken Anderson keeps getting better at his gimmick. So I'm happy with these two. Overall, 39 for the show. And we increased popularity in our tri-state region. So happy about that. Let's move on. Financials. I negative so much money, yet we're still hemorrhaging money. Now I'm negative 7,765. Hopefully we can do something to turn that around sooner rather than later. Because, oof, let me tell you. Now let's move on to our headlines. I believe there was a couple or some mail. I think the mail was what we had to note. Anyways, Great American Bash was held. MVP of that show was Eddie. Good for Eddie. Let me see off the bat here. Bill Goldberg is in New Japan. Brock Lesnar is also now in New Japan. Jeff Hardy has agreed to a deal with New Japan. So lots of exciting things going on out there. And the feedback for our show was very positive. The 49 fans really liked it. So let's go on to the mail. Brody Lee has a booking complaint. He wants to be booked more strongly so he can gain some momentum. We'll do that for him. Certainly. He deserves it. Why not? And the other thing of note here in our mail is CM Punk is click building a little backstage click between him, Bryan Danielson, and Ace Steel. So I'm kind of curious and interested to see how that's going to affect things for us moving forward. But there we have it. That was our third event, VCW Hazard, here in our local to global save. Still hemorrhaging money, but we're still plugging away at it. Hopefully we'll get that taken care of soon. As always, I appreciate you guys for joining me, and hopefully I'll see you again on the next one. Thanks, guys.